Welcome back to the $100 million workshop. Talking about scaling and constraints, part one. Let's talk about the main idea. The big picture of this workshop is going to be about constraints, leverage, and the playbooks. The goals being to change. First goal is to change your behavior to focus on the most highest leverage things, which are often focusing on the constraints, I believe. Number two, that is to increase your odds of success at solving the constraints, probably by using the playbooks. Goal three is to improve your confidence and conviction in the playbooks themselves, as well as the AI tools and how to use them. So the first part of this workshop is constraints, leverage, compounding, the three most probably essential aspects of business. Maybe that's an over-exaggeration, but huge aspects of business. What else do we got? Right, he starts off talking about learning. His operationalized definition of learning is same condition, new behavior. Talks about skills. He talks about meta skills. He talks about skills being bundles of other skills. So business being a broad term for many skills and behaviors within it, such as marketing, sales, hiring, product design, and development. And all those can be further broken down into more skills and behaviors. Okay. What else we got? Meta skills being skills that improve all other skills. Learning being the key meta skill, I believe. What else we got? Right. Results may vary. Why? Because typically when someone succeeds and someone doesn't succeed from a course, program, workshop, etc., one person had previous knowledge and skills that the others did not. And that's what leads to fundamentally the difference in results. I think I got plenty of skills that are preceding this course, so hopefully I can get a lot out of it, including my skills in learning and general knowledge of reading, writing, critical thinking, decision making, time management, as well as just business, general entrepreneurial and business knowledge, domain specific knowledge. I think that's basically everything. Before I even look, I knew there's something. I wrote down questions as well, so that I'll answer at the end, or to my best of my ability. And one of them is, how do you identify the constraints of your business? And then I said, is the biggest constraint in business your inability to identify the constraints of the business? I think that's a pretty cool idea. All right, he's talking also about learning as a bridge, oversimplified metaphor in my opinion, but success stops where the constraint is, or where the missing piece of the bridge is. If you're a person, it's missing knowledge. If you're a business, it's like a constraint in the flow through of the business, the flow through. All right, let's continue now. I'll be back to recall once I'm done watching for today. All right, today, what did we learn? We start with where do we leave off? Learning as a bridge, right? The results may vary due to prerequisites. This is prerequisites. Hormozi basically saying that requirements or prerequisites to work with your business, especially service-based business and information-based businesses. I think he's saying requisites are actually very valuable, saying we only work with people doing this, basically, and this being things that will make, he's like, think about what, if every client had this thing or these things, it would like maximize the chance of their success and the scale of their success. And so if you limit who you work with to those things, those requirements, and that's your new avatar, you can probably charge a lot more and get way better results, because you can charge more because they get better results. They have a higher chance of success and a higher scale of success. So you can charge more, right? Rather than working with everyone, selling everyone, but you got like a huge range of different levels of success. All right. What else do we get to? Learning as the bridge. General skills allow you to fill in more gaps and allow you to understand more information when it's limited information. And everything is limited information. There's always limited information. So general skills will help you to fill in more gaps in that bridge and get across that bridge. As well, your level of success will be also largely determined by your domain specific knowledge, so your expertise in your specific niche and business and area. So we're getting into the theory of constraints. This is a huge idea around Hormozi. It's the first behavior change he says to do after purchasing this course, the playbooks and the workshop and everything. Focus on the highest leverage activity, which Hormozi defines as the constraint. That is the highest leverage. I don't fully agree that that's a mathematically rigorous definition, that the constraint is always the highest leverage activity, but it is probably one of the highest leverage activities you could ever be doing or focusing on. The constraint, as far as operationally a business goes, is the highest point of leverage. I'm kind of starting to split Hormozi's stuff. Is, I think, half of a like a killer once in a, not a generation, but like a $1 billion company. You've got to have the operational side, which I think Hormozi largely teaches the operations, how to keep incrementally improving the funnel, the throughput of the business. But there's also the other half of the business, of a killer business, and that's the innovation, the technological understanding and innovation, which is harder to pin down as like, this is the constraint, because you don't know what you don't know. But anyway, I think the operational understanding of how to create a business, run a business, optimize a business, that's very valuable outside of the product design and innovation. This is skills you're going to need anyway. So I'm fully here to learn everything Hormozi's got to teach about the theory of constraints and optimizing and building businesses and the fundamentals of entrepreneurship. But I'm also every day improving my knowledge of technology, math, science, computer science, in order to build at the cutting edge of technology someday, or continuously. Okay, one of those hiring insights is going to be to hire for basically the smallest skill deficiency, whatever is going to be the smallest thing. You're going to need to invest to train this person up. And he mentions that attitude and the things that attitude contain, people complaining at other people, or complimenting other people, or people skills. These are skills that can be trained. All right, so we're going to be getting more into the constraint tomorrow, the theory of constraints, and how to identify the constraint. Kind of along the constraint, he says just the quote that a chain is as strong as its weakest, only as strong as its weakest link, the weakest link being the constraint. So if you're focusing on other chains or adding more chains, it's not going to really make any difference. But it can add potential, right? So he kind of uses this flow through, like if you think of it as like a 4-lane highway, then that's the flow through. But if there's a constraint that pulls down the highway down to 1 lane, then you're only gonna have a throughput of 1 lane, right? That doesn't mean if you focus over here and make this 5 or 6 lanes, that's not doing stuff, that's adding more potential. But if you don't ever address the constraint, you'll never be more throughput than the 1 lane. All right. So I think there's essentially two modes of leverage. There's innovation, and there's the theory of constraints and the optimization of the existing model. It's like, if you keep optimizing, here's the example. If you keep optimizing the horse, you'd never get to the car. You'll just keep getting a faster horse. So I'm talking, I want to innovate as well and rewrite the rules, but I also want to build empires around it and strong, solid, fundamental businesses that continue to optimize themselves. There's always only one constraint. And it's the job of the entrepreneur to essentially be focusing on leverage, I would say. But he's saying chief resource allocator, and he thinks you should always be putting the resources towards the constraint. Maybe in the abstract, but I'm still saying there's things like innovation that it's not very well addressed in that narrow theory. Right. And he also says the ability to figure it out. That's one of those general skills. It's a meta skill, and it's one of the biggest meta skills to help you, or that will lead to success. Those are proportional domains. Okay, we got everything. That's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow to continue with this scaling or implementation workshop. So that's it for today. Talk to you later. See you.